welcome everybody. I'm glad to have with me today my dear friend, Mr. Phil Patel. We're out here at this beautiful Hampton Inn and Suites by Hilton. We hadn't talked in about a year, and I know you're busy, and I appreciate you sitting down, first of all, and talking to me today.
That's no problem.
We've got some great news we're going to talk about. But before we get into that, this time of the year, it's an exciting time of the year, especially for kids that are graduating high school and graduating college, and that's part of our big news we want to talk about today. But let's back up, because you didn't just one day build this big, beautiful, multi-million-dollar hotel out here on the interstate. I remember about the time when you came to Dublin, but I want to back up way before that. Tell everybody about where you grew up, where you're from, and just let's talk a little bit about where you came from.
Sure. Actually, I was born in Zambia, and it's in Africa, in the continent of Africa. And at the age of 12, I emigrated to England for studies, and in a small town called Kirklington, near Mansfield in Nottinghamshire. And I finished up to high school there, but did not get a chance to finish college. But that's where and then of course I got married, and I had my two beautiful children, Jiten and Prayer. And
Melanie.
And Melanie,
yeah,
of course,
yes.
Please
say her name. Your beautiful wife.
And my beautiful wife,
but
that's right.
Where you came from, that's really what I'm trying to get to. Where you was born and raised to that certain age, you didn't have a lot of opportunity for an education there, did you?
No. So that was one thing that was lacking in Africa, was education. So I was blessed that my parents could afford to send me abroad for further education.
So is that telling me why the things you do, and number one, those of you who don't know Phil, I don't care what it is, if it's good for our community, you've always supported it. You've always believed in community and support not only our Chamber of Commerce, but I know last year you gave away hundreds and hundreds of book bags. I was out here, and there was, where we're sitting, there were book bags everywhere, and kids and parents and everything, which is wonderful. And then this year, you're doing these scholarships that I want to get a little deeper into, but is this where all this is coming from? I mean, we all, and how do I want to say it, we all kind of go back to our childhood and things that we might have missed, and we want to fill in them blanks for kids today, don't we?
That is true. That is true, because not every child is blessed. All parents have a different earning capacity, and sometimes parents again might not push their child to do better, because maybe they might be so busy at work and they just don't have time.
Okay, this year, we talked about book bags last year. This year, we're giving away some serious money. The Hampton Inn out here by Hilton is giving away some really, really good money to kids that graduated this year and are going to college this fall, right?
That is correct, yes.
Okay, tell me about that.
So what we're doing is for all the schools in the area, which is East Lawrence, West Lawrence, Trinity, and Dublin High.
That's right.
Right. We're saying that what I'd like the students, the graduating students, is to write to me to say that why is education important to them. And once they write to us, we're going to be going through all the emails that get sent to us with our team. So here what it is a team hotel joint venture. So what we do is that we would like to get all our team members here together and read them, and then find out from each school which one that we feel like is going to get our $500 prize.
Well, I know that you're going to get excited about it, because I told you we were involved in doing one last year with some other companies. We have some great kids here, great community. You know this. You came here. See, people like me grew up here. You chose to come here.
That is correct, yes.
That's the difference. Right. And that says a lot about, and we know a lot of people that made the decision. You could have went anywhere.
That is true.
My goodness, yes. You just named countries and places most of us never heard of, have. Well, we can't even hardly pronounce. But when you chose to bring your family here, put them in local schools here, And I know for a fact, because I know your children, they were educated here and have went on to do their own thing. But that's important to you, isn't it?
That is true, yes. We found that when we wanted to emigrate to U.S., we had a choice to go at a lot of places. But when we were going through and meeting people in different towns, Dublin was something that really caught on to us to say, this is a town that we need to be here.
Absolutely. And so what we're saying here is if you go to Dublin, East, West, or Trinity, all you got to do is submit it, why education is important to you. Write a story, essay, and the email's right there on the screen without me having to say it to you. Just get a pen. We're going to leave it right there on the screen for you. Just go get you a pen or a pencil, sheet of paper, and write that down. We want you to email it to that email address. We're going to leave it there for you. And then, what are they going to win?
They're going to win $500.
Wow.
Yes.
Boy, I'm going to tell you, especially somebody starting school this year, and I know I got two nephews, well, one just graduated, one in school. $500 is a lot of money. $500 is a lot of money around my house.
That is true. That is true.
I think it's great.
Yes.
So if you're watching this, say you don't have a kid, you know kids at church, in your youth group, your neighbors, let's encourage them to be a part of this because this money can really come in handy to them. So they can enter for a chance to win $500 scholarship, and that check's going to be written from Phil and his staff here at the Hampton Inn out here. We're right here. Those of you, most of you know it if you just moved here. It's the big, beautiful hotel right here at Cracker Barrel and Longhorns right across the street. So we want to invite you also to come out and visit. If you've got people coming to town, I can't think of a better place in Dublin, Georgia than to stay right here at the Hampton. And I want to take a commercial break, and I want to come back. You didn't just start here. We talked about you growing up, but I want to talk a little bit more about when Phil came to town, a few of the reasons why he chose Dublin. So stay with us. We're going to take a break. We'll be back right after this. From humble beginnings with a desire to serve the Dudley community, Bank of Dudley has grown to 5 locations, serving Lawrence, Twiggs, and surrounding counties. Serving our community since 1905, the Bank of Dudley is looking forward to its 2nd century of community banking. Drop in today to any of our 5 locations: Jeffersonville, Dudley, East Dublin, Veterans Boulevard, and downtown Dublin. Bank of Dudley, member FDIC, and an equal housing lender. Welcome back, everybody. I'm talking to my dear friend Phil Patel. We're out here at the Hampton Inn and Suites by Hilton. And if you're just joining us, we really got a great program going on here. We're having a chance to win a $500 scholarship, and all you got to do is submit an essay explaining why education is important to you. If you're entering college this fall, you can take part in this and have a chance at winning a $500 scholarship. The email address is right there on the phone. Now, we're here at the Hampton Inn. This is your latest hotel. Now, you've also got a project going on in Vidalia, right?
That is correct, yes. So we have a Holiday Inn Express that's just got off the ground.
You just got stuff going everywhere.
Well, we've been blessed.
Yeah. Now, when you came to town, now your first hotel was in East Dublin, right?
That is correct, yes. It was in East Dublin, and it used to be called the Ramada Inn, behind the BP Jet Food Station.
And that was our very first, and those of you watching all know that I'm from the east side of the river, and I remember when you built that hotel over there, we had never had we've got a few motels over there, but they'd been around forever and ever, but this was, to us, this was a nice hotel that come to East Dublin. And you know what got me about it, not only people from the east side stayed in it, but you had a lot of industry, YKK and people like that. When their people come to town, they were staying in East Dublin.
That is true, yes. We were very blessed with industries on the Dublin side that chose us also for their employees or their people that are coming from out of town that stayed at us. The really best one was Ed Touchbury with YKK at that time when he was there. He got a lot of YKK people to come and stay, and I was so happy to say that I could host guests that are coming to such a big corporation
Yeah.
at our hotel in East Dublin.
And I know Ed watches us all the time, and Ed Touchberry, that wasn't by accident. Ed served this community for so many years as a Dublin City Councilman, worked at YKK, and was a big player in the Dublin Lawrence Chamber of Commerce, and for so many years. Now, Ed, you're taking it easy now. Everybody knows that, but he really worked hard for this community for so many years.
Sure did.
Another person that I know was important to you when you first came was a mutual friend of ours, Miss Willie Paul.
It was, yes. I remember the first time when I came to Dublin and we went to visit and see and talk to Miss Willie Park, and she said, "Welcome to Dublin, East Dublin," and I'm like, okay, why are we saying East Dublin and Dublin? We just felt like it was called East Dublin, but it's part of Dublin, but which it is. I mean, we know we have two cities, but she said, you'll have to work, you'll have to work and make friends with people in town, with industries and that, and she told me that. And I was very blessed to have her on my side.
Yeah, absolutely. Willie, we both can say the same thing, but we love Willie, and we know you watch all the time. We love you, and again, someone who has done immeasurable things for this community. But and the chamber's always been important to you, Phil. I know we see each other at a lot of we sit the other night at business after hours. We sit together and talked about this very project that we're talking about now. But the chamber's always been important to you, hasn't it?
That is true, yes. Because what the chamber, it brings everybody together. We're different businesses, or we might be competition also. But at the time, we all get together and see how we can work with each other. Because in business, your industry, you have to make some money. Everybody has to do it and see. So what I try to do is that we try to use all local industries or companies or as much as we can.
Yes.
For anything that we do here, because we know that all businesses that come with the chamber, or if they're not members of the chamber, we all have to make our day-to-day living.
Yeah, absolutely. And those of you regular viewers probably get tired of hearing me say this. I know some of you do because you've told me, but shop local. Try to buy local. I know some things that you just have to go out of town or might have to buy online or whatever, but try to buy local, even if you pay a little more. And a lot of people, well, most of you regular viewers know this, but when you spend your money here in Dublin and Lawrence County, that money turns 7 times. So to me, that's an incredible feeling, knowing that my money, whether I spend $20 or $2,000, and that 2,000 number really excites me, because when it turns 7 times, and let's just think about that, whether it's your employees or our employees, to be able to buy their cars, to pay their mortgages, to send their kids, we're talking about college, and if we don't buy local. And another thing, y'all, you're going to be hearing from the football programs and the yearbooks and all right around the corner. The local business cannot afford to buy those ads if you don't do business with them, because I guarantee you, when you sell those ads, you're not going to the Macon Mall or the shops at River Crossing or wherever in Macon or Warner Robins. You're not going to sell those ads there. You're going to local businesses. So, Phil, you know, and I know, we can't afford to do that if people are not doing business with us.
That is true, yes. So it's very important that we support each other as much as we can.
Okay, let's reiterate one more time. We've got a $500 scholarship. Now, that we're talking about Dublin, East Lawrence, West Lawrence, and Trinity. And all they have to do is write an essay about what?
Why is education important to you?
Okay.
Right.
And the email's right there on the screen. We're going to take another break. You see the email right there. Just go ahead and write it down. We're going to come back, and we're going to make sure you have that email. But we're here at the Hampton Inn and Suites by Hilton out here on I-16 talking to Mr. Phil Patel. We're going to take another break, and we'll be back and wrap things up right after this.
A lot of people don't know that Nationwide Insurance is the largest farm insurer in the country. Example, this tractor. There's multiple ways to cover your equipment. It is replacement cost, actual cash value, insuring the GPS system on it. In addition to tractors, we also cover any implements that you would like to cover. Like this front end loader has a value added to your tractor or on its own. A lot of times The only way we will insure a farm is if we come to your site. We're going to walk it, we're going to talk it, we're going to find out what you do and what your interests are. We're going to customize it so that you get full benefit with the broadest coverage that's available on the market today. A lot of people find out at the time of a claim that they were not properly covered. That is my worst fear. So we make sure going in that you are covered properly. Don't forget to insure your sprayer. A lot of people say, I rode by and didn't see you at your office. That's because I was probably on a farm.
Welcome back, everybody. Continuing my conversation with Phil Patel. We're here at the Hampton Inn and Suites by Hilton. And we've got great news. If you're just joining us, Phil has put up a scholarship, a chance to win a $500 scholarship. And all you got to do is submit an essay about...
Why is education important to you?
Okay, let me turn that question around on you. Not only we've talked about education, why it's important to you, but let's move it up a step. These kids are going to be starting to college. Why is a college education important?
Well, college education is important to you because that's the way you're moving forward to get to the next stage, to get your degrees and to graduate from college to go to a bigger university if you had to, if you were doing medical and all that. But there's only one thing that I was always like to say is that you got to focus, because here at college, generally you get your 20 hours or 30 hours is what you're getting in the whole week. You get your classes and you got to manage your time.
Yes.
And I've seen a lot of students that don't manage their time, because here at high school or at school, your parents are there, you go to school at 8 in the morning till 3, you come home, so you got that time frame.
Yeah.
So at college, you know, you might have a class in the afternoon or at 4 o'clock in the afternoon. And so what I found that a lot of students do is they have a good time in the evening, you know, playing Xbox or whatever they're doing, and then they get up late.
Yeah.
So my one thing is that you need to focus on your education.
Yes.
And you got to focus on your time of when you're going to do what. And there's always going to be a peer pressure from other friends as you meet them at the college, and they're different. And some can educate, you know, some can read less and get a lot in their head, and some have to do a lot more. But my main goal is to say to, and I say that to a lot of our community people also, students that are going to college, that focus, you know, focus and put some time frame of what work you have to do, and put some time for leisure time also, because, you know, it's not all to do with studies. You got to take a break.
Yeah, to be productive in whatever, our jobs, going to college,
Right.
to be productive, you need that downtime, there's no doubt about it. And, you know, we're here right in the shadows of Oconee Fall Line Technical College, which is, just went from, well, it was Heart of Georgia Technical
Right.
School when it started, but it has really grown through the years, and we've seen so many people, they're putting out productive citizens, and we just interviewed a lot of the graduates a few weeks ago at all of the high schools that we're talking about, and it's so good to hear kids. Some are going to Middle Georgia, some going to University of Georgia to teach or be a veterinarian or these different things, but so many are going right here to Oconee Fall Line because they want to be truck drivers or diesel mechanics or pharmacy techs or things like that. They've got over 100 degrees over here, so it's not like you don't have a choice. But not everybody's cut out to go to a 4-year school.
That is true. So you have, like what I would say is that you got to first of all figure out what you want to do.
Yeah.
And then focus on that, because and a lot of times, sometimes people do change their minds, but you know, we have all these so many options there. So like we said, we don't have to go to UGA. You know, you might be some courses that you can do here.
Yeah.
Because, you know, financially sometimes not everybody can afford it. So I mean, I know we get all these grants and all that, but again, all that has to be paid back. So you got to keep that in mind.
Yeah, absolutely. And we want to congratulate all of you that have graduated this year, whether you graduated from high school or college. We just wish you all the success in the world. And we want to thank our local schools because, Phil, like I mentioned earlier, you chose to live here. And one of the things that anybody that I talk to that chooses to move here, they look at our schools.
That is true. So that was one of the things when we did move here, back was the schooling, that what we had. Because I remember my father, one time I called him up and he says, before you decide where you want to stay, he says, first thing, yes, the business what you're going to go in, of course you're going to look at that. But look at the schooling system, look at the area first, and look
Yeah.
at, how everything is. And one thing that really stood out was the schooling system
Yeah.
here. That is true. I can say that, and I'll say that. Only yesterday I was in Atlanta, and somebody asked me, "What made you move to Dublin when you first came here? You had the choice to go to bigger cities and all that, and do your businesses." And I said, that was one of the things that really was is
Yeah.
the community here. First thing, and the second thing was, also can't say first and second. It's both together. Was the schooling system.
Yeah.
We do have some good, excellent schools. We have some excellent teachers here that are here. And we have some excellent students that I've seen a lot of them that have graduated and gone. Now and then we might meet their parents somewhere like in a store, and we will talk, and they'll say what their children are doing and how they graduated and moved on and got some good jobs. So education is the way to move forward,
Yeah.
And today, not everybody is made to do hard work sometimes, so it just depends on what you like to do.
Yeah.
And focus, that's the only thing. You got to focus, and you got to love what you do.
Amen. Amen. We got to wrap things up, but we want to reiterate one more time. You see the email address right there on the screen, but we want you to get your essays in, why education is important to you, and get it emailed in to phil.patel@hilton.com. And you got a chance to win a $500 scholarship. And I know a lot of you are sitting there now thinking, because I've mentioned this already to some people and some counselors in the area, I know they were excited because $500 is a lot of money. And we're excited about reading these essays, and I know you are. We've talked off camera, and we've talked for about 30 minutes now, but I'm excited about seeing the final products. And you hit on it, Phil. We have some excellent educators, excellent kids, and all that comes from you, the parents, because we know that the best kids do the best in school, their parents are involved in their education. So our hats are off to you, parents, for doing such a great job, and I know you're proud of your kids this time of the year. We honored our graduates at church yesterday. We have 7 kids at our church graduating. Sunday. We're taping this on Tuesday, actually, but it makes you so proud to see those kids and to hear how just how well they've done in school, and we're proud of every one of you. So, Phil, thank you so much for doing this. Seems like every year you got something else going on with that back to school. So, and like I said, I know how important it is to you.
And first, and the last thing I would like to say is thank you to the members that are owners of this hotel.
Yes.
To allow me to do this sort of work for the community, because at the end of the day, it's a cost to the company. But, we believe that we can give to the company because we've been blessed here.
Amen. Okay, the deadline is July 26th, and we're going to announce the winner July 31st. We'll announce the winners right here on TV 35. So go ahead and get them in, get your kids writing those essays, and enter your chance to win a $500 scholarship. And we want to thank Hampton Inn and Suites by Hilton here at I-16. Phil, thank you again for joining me today.
No problem. Thank you very much.
I had to stop you from working, didn't I?
No, that's fine.
Okay, thank you, my friend, and thank you for joining us today right here on TV 35.